So SmackDown after WrestleMania has officially concluded. Number one, I want to talk about the main event real quick because that is the last thing that we witnessed as SmackDown went off air. This main event match was made last week by Nick Aldis in kayfabe because these teams they want to get at each other so badly. And a lot of people were criticizing, especially me, I was criticizing why you would have this match on a random episode of SmackDown following WrestleMania and not have this match take place at WrestleMania. Instead, you had the New Day against the War Raiders, which nobody's even remembering that match even took place at WrestleMania. Now, if you take into account both matches, following this week, tell me which match you actually want to see, back. It's not going to be the New Day and the War Raiders. It's going to be this match because this match, number one, it was TLC. Number two, it was commercial free, so you stuck around for this entire match. You saw a lot of crazy spots here. You saw tables, you saw chairs, ladders, everything, the whole shebang. You saw my favorite spot here in this match was the edge spot. I'm gonna call it the edge spot because that's what it is. I think Tommaso Ciampa was dangling from the top of where the titles were suspended, and Angelo Dawkins ends up spearing him through the table from the top of a ladder. Nice callback to that, to the original first TLCs, the first couple of TLCs between the Hardys and everybody of that era. And you had these Street Profits retaining their championships, walking away with their championships as we end the show. Again, I don't know how you have this match on SmackDown and not at WrestleMania, but that's how we ended the show. Let's talk about how we began this show, because we began this show much like how we began the show on Monday with John Cena. John Cena came out there again with his pissed off looking face. He came out there. He told the ring announcer to announce him specifically how he wanted him to be announced. And afterwards, before Cena could even say anything on the microphone, out comes Randy Orton. Randy Orton comes down to the ring to address John Cena. He tells him that, Cena, he's known Cena for 25 years. He said that, I think within the next couple of months, it's going to be 25 years since they first officially shook hands or whatever, that he's known him all this time. He's always been about hustle, loyalty, respect. He said that's not something that you put on merchandise just to sell it. He says that's a real life slogan that you live by. I know that's you, that's been you, but up until recently you haven't changed, but now you've changed. He mentioned the Make-A-Wish stuff. He said all those kids that you mentioned, all those kids that you have been around and have granted their wishes, you can't tell me that they're just a number for you. He said you influenced a whole generation of kids that looked up to you, and now you've changed for the worse. He said now there's a void, right? He said now there's a void for you, and he said it's only right to fill this void because there's obviously something missing to you. And he tells him, I know what's missing for you, man. He says, I think you need to have kids. I think you need to have children. He said you need to have children because they'll make you better. And he cited himself as a primary reason as to why he's kind of mellowed out these past few years, and he's kind of on this run that Randy is on, right? And Cena just looks up to him. He tells him how dare you try to school me on my parental choices. You want to know the real reason why I haven't had kids? He said it's because I've had to essentially raise all these people for 25 years, all of their kids for 25 years. He points out a kid and his father at ringside saying you know what, I have to raise this spoiled brat. And he mentioned how John Cena, he's on this crusade now to try to be the last real world champion, to try to end wrestling. He said over his dead body is John Cena going to end professional wrestling, because Randy, he's been born into this. He's been, ever since he was in his mother's womb, this wrestling business has been given back to him. Cena says that he's going to ruin wrestling to try to erase 3 generations of Randy Orton's family. He said that even though Randy is at 14 championships, eventually when Cena leaves and he wins a new plastic toy championship that they decide to make up, he said that that's going to have to go back to 0, that he's going to have to restart everything from scratch. Eventually, Randy, he's so pissed off. He's like, man, why don't we just hash this out, you and me, one-on-one right now here tonight for the championship? Cena looks like he's going to give into it, but eventually he says, nah, not tonight. I'll let you at Backlash. I'll let you have this opportunity at Backlash. He says Backlash is in St. Louis, Missouri, right? He says Randy Orton is from St. Louis, Missouri. He told Randy Orton, why don't you take that time to be with your family, come home well rested, come to the Backlash pay-per-view, because I want the best Randy Orton that there is. So essentially, it's been made official ever since. Randy Orton against John Cena at Backlash for the WWE Championship. Eventually, you know, these two guys, they end up getting into a scuffle. Randy Orton gets the RKO once again, and John Cena gets laid out again for the second time this week as Randy Orton stands tall with the WWE Championship. So like I said, Randy and John Cena made official for Backlash, I think within the next 2 weeks. So I think overall, I really enjoyed this promo. I think this was probably Cena's best promo, either this one or the, you know, first face-to-face that he had with Cody ever since he's been a heel. I do, you know, the whole trying to insult the fans, but like after weeks and weeks and weeks of it, it's like I've heard it, right? I've heard enough of that. You know, just give me something else so I can sink my teeth into. But like I said, I really hope this match ends up delivering. I don't know as far as, you know, how great the match is going to be. I certainly hope that this is better than Cena and Cody was this past Sunday night. We also got the debut of Fraxium against Los Garza here tonight. And we also got the return of Aleister Black. He came out to just take out The Miz. He gave him the black mass and laid him out. We also had Tiffany Stratton come out here and address her victory over Charlotte Flair, essentially saying that, you know, she's better than Charlotte. She is the first Tiffany Stratton and she's not the next Charlotte Flair. Then eventually Jade Cargill comes out here and essentially kind of, you know, ask for a match for the championship here tonight. This match has actually been made official. So we get this match, right? And all the while, I'm like, yeah, I'm sure Naomi is going to run in here any moment now. It didn't really take much for her to run in. She runs in here, takes out Jade. Eventually, Naomi and Tiffany go like face to face. Naomi goes to the outside. And then Nia Jax comes back and takes out Tiffany Stratton. Nia Jax, after having, you know, the weekend roast thing or whatever it may be, she comes back, she takes out Tiffany Stratton, and we're presumed to, you know, come to the conclusion that it's going to be Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton at Backlash. And it's kind of like, yeah, you know, that's rehashed. I've already seen that. You know, what are we doing with Nia Jax and Tiffany once again? Now, we also got the United States Champion coming out there, Jacob Fatu, accompanied by Solo Sikoa. Solo Sikoa got the microphone and he said that, you know, this is your new United States Champion, Jacob Fatu. He mentioned how nobody wanted Jacob Fatu in the WWE. Nobody from our family wanted him to be here. He said if it weren't for me, Solo, he wouldn't be United States Champion. He wouldn't be where he's at. It's all because of me. And all the while, Jacob Fatu was kind of like giving him the side eye, like, motherfucker, are you serious right now? And he cuts a promo on him. He tells him, you know, you fit in where you get in. He tells him, you know what I mean? And then, you know, LA Knight comes out, wants a rematch for his championship. Drew McIntyre comes out. He says that he was going to go after Cena because Cena, he's, you know, not the same man. He's a coward at this point. But Randy Orton jumped the line. He said that this is not WWE. This is Nepo Wrestling Entertainment. And he says that brings me to the Bloodline. That's why I'm out here to get a championship match against the toughest dog in the yard, that being Jacob Fatu. So we get the match between LA Knight and Drew McIntyre, and again, this ends up in a bunch of shenanigans. I think I saw Drew McIntyre got the win over disqualification because Damian Priest interfered and put him through the table. Eventually, Jacob Fatu comes out. He takes out Priest. He takes out LA Knight. Jacob Fatu stands tall as the United States Champion. So I don't know really what they're gonna do for Backlash. I would love to see a 4-way at Backlash between Fatu, Knight, Priest, and McIntyre. I think that would absolutely kill it as far as the match goes. So I would definitely love to see that. You know, Fatu ain't losing anytime soon, right? But those are my overall thoughts as far as SmackDown goes. Overall, I would say between the two shows, Raw and SmackDown this week, I definitely tend to favor Raw a little bit more. I feel like there was more of a storytelling purpose there. I feel like the show just flowed a lot better there. But let me know what you guys think down below. And until next time, take care, and I will see you later.